And I agree, sustainability, that word is thrown around quite often. And you and I discussed that relationships are the root of sustainability. And when I say relationships can be thrown around a lot as well. So I think we need to dive into that a little bit and try to determine what relationships you're talking about. And certainly the relationships with your customers, certainly the relationship with your suppliers, certainly the relationship with your coworkers. And I think you can now talk about large topics, the planet we're on. And so let's take it in bites. The relationships that my father nurtured over the years and my grandfather nurtured over the years are some of the relationships that we are working with now with customers, with vendors, and certainly with employees who some of their children are working here now. And I think the one thing that is common with all of them, all of these relationships, is at the very core of who people are, they want to be valued. If you're not going to value the job that your coworkers are doing, they can get a paycheck somewhere else. And if you're not going to value the job that your vendors are doing for you, they're going to sell their products somewhere else. And certainly if you're not valuing your customers, you're not going to be in business very long. But moving it forward to the valuing the planet that we're on. You know, I had spoken at a recent podcast about where I grew up. And it was in a city just north of Boston. And it struggled mightily with some environmental issues when I was a kid in grammar school and junior high school, to the point where classmates of mine had leukemia, some passed away, and it was all caused by dumping chemicals into the ground illegally. They've made movies about the town, and that town struggled mightily. Decades later, some say still struggling with the scars that it had. And at a young age, you know, you realize that it's not that hard to figure out. You don't respect the planet you're on, it's not going to respect you back. And all these relationships are the same. Treat people with respect, treat customers with respect, treat the planet with respect. Things come back to you in spades. And, you know, getting into the organic business, Dita, I was exposed to it in the 80s up at UVM. And the California people love to take credit for the organic movement. But it was the small Vermont farmers working out of the Mat River Valley and up and down Route 7 by Shelburne that were really the start of that movement. California might have taken it mainstream, but they were the start. So being able to kind of marry what my job ultimately became to some of the experiences I had as a kid, putting that together and making a business model out of it, all of that is the root of sustainability. And then treating the people the right way along the way is the cherry on top. It all comes back.
So I would say, honestly, I don't think so. I think sustainability, looking at it through those lenses of like the 3 Ps, people, profit, and planet, and how do you balance those in a really sustainable way, is the best way to look at it. Because you can have great ideas, but if they don't help the company stay in business, then those ideas really aren't sustainable. And you can focus only on profit. But if you put relationships with people and the planet to the wayside, then you are sort of not doing your job as just an ethical person. So I think that focusing on it through the same lens as Generation 3 is really, really important. And the great thing is I get to go to college to figure out new ways to be sustainable. So I'm sure I'll have a different view than my dad once I graduate and once I see more of the world outside of the four walls of State Garden. But in the end, really making sure to focus on those three things, I think, is really